Hello Dixie Belle Paint fans, how are you today? It is Melissa from the Top Drawer RVA coming to you live because this is Wednesday, and every Wednesday at this time we get together and sit on the floor and play with some paint, and I have a new project for us to do together. So welcome. If you are new joining me for the first time, I would love it if you say hi in the comments below. And if you're back to watch me again, play with some paint and hang out, Thanks for coming back and joining me. As always, I do a lot of talking and not a lot of reading of the comments, but I will always come back in afterwards and answer any questions you might have as we go along, so you can always drop them in as we are painting. So yay, we have a new project, and it's a cutie. It's a cutie project. Okay, so this is a very tall, kind of prefab manufactured cabinet. You can see that it's made from like a plastic MDF style of material. It had at one point a scene of like an ocean thing painted on the side, right? You can kind of see it peeking through here. There's like a little lighthouse, very like 1985. So we're gonna get rid of the 1985, and I have a really great idea for this piece. We're gonna go kind of textured. We're gonna use Terra Clay Paint today. We're gonna go Apothecary style. So I've got like this little hardware that I've been saving for a rainy day. And even though the hardware on this piece didn't come off, so I can't really put these here, I figured that the space in between each drawer could hold like a tiny little label. So my plan for this piece is to paint it in like a grungy, kind of dirty looking, aged Terra effect. When it's all done, I'm going to add these little teeny tiny card placeholders. What do you call these doodads? I don't know, they're like little library card label holders. We're getting fancy over here. It's just to hold like a piece of paper. So I might even actually get out like my calligraphy pen and do like number 1, number 2, number 3, and then place them all the way down this piece, because we've got like a bunch of drawers in this tiny tall cabinet. So that is the plan. So we're gonna play with Terra today, and I'm excited because if you guys know me as a Top Drawer RVA follower, you know that I love Terra Clay Paint. I love the texture that it gives me. I love the crunchiness look of it. I love the feel of the dark wax and adding gilding wax over top. It's my favorite way to paint. So we are gonna jump in. Let's do it. We're gonna start at the top, right here at the top, and we're gonna work our way down. I see some people hopping on. Hi Patty, how are you today? Okay, so these little drawers, like they do technically come out, right? Nothing fancy. You can tell that this kind of plastic style material needed some prep. So for this cabinet, I did slick stick. If you put slick stick on your pieces, you are never going to be able to get it off. It's an amazing product to help your projects become paintable. Any slick or shiny surfaces, anything that's plastic, melamine, that sort of look. You can also see, if you come up here in the detail, that this piece had like a texture, right? This piece had like a faux crackle on it before I did that, which is another reason why I chose Terra Clay Paint today, because by using Terra Clay Paint, I'm going to be able to get a finish that's more uniform, not really caring if there's any chips out of this piece, if there's any cracks in this piece. Like, we're gonna work with what we got here, right? Work with what we got, right people? I'm gonna aim you up so that you can see everything. I might cut myself out, but that's okay. And we're gonna get started. So on the floor, I have a couple of different colors of Terra Clay Paint. And there's really no rhyme or reason to how I'm gonna approach this, other than I want to start with the dark color. So we're gonna start with Terra Clay Paint in Onyx. This is like the blackest of the Terra, and you can really see how thick Terra Clay Paint is. See how long it takes to drip off that brush? It's very thick and pudding-like. It has a really wonderful texture. I always apply my Terra with a chip brush or a natural fiber brush versus a synthetic brush, because Terra for me is the texture and the color and the peaks and valleys that it creates. I don't want to be smooth with my motion. I want to put it on like kind of stipply and thick, okay? So I'm going to go like this into all of my dark recessed areas on this tiny chest. And by stippling it on, I hope it's not going to be too noisy. Hear those drawers kind of sliding back and forth? Noisy. I'm going to stipple it on and get it kind of in these darker recessed areas. Remember, we're going to go dark with this look. We're going to use Terra for texture. We're going to be using it to design an apothecary style cabinet. So I really want to get it into all of these corners, these nooks and crannies, even around the hardware. We're going to get this piece on here, and we're going to play with some Terra, play with some paint. Have you used Terra Clay Paint before? And if you have, do you love it? Do you love the texture that it gives you? It's honestly my favorite paint from the Dixie Belle line. It is available in 4-ounce sizes. You can actually pick up those smaller sizes now for crafting, or if you wanted to just give it a try and see what it's like. Because until you get your hands on it, you're not gonna know how much you love it. Like, I love it. I love it. If I could paint Terra all the time, I would. I'm gonna move you out a little bit so that you can see the progress as we make our way down this little piece. She is tall, but she is skinny. It's a skinny piece. So this onyx is just getting deposited into the crevices. The other thing that I like about Terra Clay Paint is the fact that anybody can do this. Like, when you see me paint with Terra, and I get these amazing textured looks that people are like, how on earth did you do that? You know, like, it just gives you this amazing finish. I'm like, it's Terra, and it's easy, I promise. Like, I'm not sitting here precisely painting. If you were to sit down and precisely copy every look that I'm doing right here, you would never be able to do it, because I'm gonna be messy and haphazard and enjoy what I'm putting onto this piece. There's nothing like instructional about this. This is just having fun, okay? So I'm gonna just continue this pattern all the way down. And yes, I'm painting with the drawers in because I want to keep an organic look. I can easily open them after I'm finished and come in and clean up all the edges, which I'll do off camera because that's boring. That's the boring stuff. But it will get finished in that way. So right now we're just depositing our black onyx, which is the deepest, darkest color from the Terra Clay Paint line, onto our project. Just mashing it in there so that we get it in all those deep, dark corners, right? All the crevices. I'm even gonna come up a little bit higher, I think, on the edges. Okay, you wanna come in? Let's come in. Come in closer. Okay, so now we're here. We're at this part of our project. I want to keep going. I'm gonna keep this brush separate after I use my dark colors. Then I'm gonna switch brushes. Like, I have a bunch on the floor, but I'm not gonna keep it even Steven for each color like I normally would. I'm actually gonna take the same black brush. I did put one color here on the floor, and that is chocolate from the Chalk Mineral Paint line. I like chocolate because it looks kind of like brown, like dirt, and I wanna dirt this up. I wanna make this like browner and darker, because this is just my base, right? I'm gonna use it in the same manner that I did apply my Terra, which is stipple fashion, but I just want to add a little bit more darker in some corners. And then we're going to blast this with the heat gun, and we're going to move along this process. I think that this piece will have a lot of drips and runs. I think that this piece will have edges gilded in gold. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, but I just want to add a little bit of brown coming down this way. So the brown and the onyx are on the same brush. It doesn't matter if you want to change brushes or keep it the same, because really we're just going to really get in here and just deposit some depth down. We're just putting that first coat on. I'm going to go around all the hardware so that I don't have any of the white slick sticks showing through. Okay, hot mess express, right? Looks like a crazy hot mess, but trust me, there's always a method behind the madness, and we will make this happen. Hi David, thanks for watching. Okay. So now, onyx and brown, which is from the Chalk Mineral line. The brown is chocolate, the onyx is Terra, and we're just going to start with this as our base, okay? So now I've got kind of like some stipples on there. Let's grab this heat gun and give it a dry real quick so that I can work kind of in this area. I think I'll start at the top and work my way down. So we're gonna dry this paint. And the reason we're drying this paint is because I wanna keep that value. I wanna keep those stipples, right? I want to keep that black underneath. So in regular everyday painting life, you could wait for these layers to dry and you would have time. But in this painting online, in the fast motion painting that I want to show you all the things, I need to dry it quicker than that. So I'm going to hit it with the heat gun and get this dry. Because if I come in here and add another layer of paint on top and this first coat isn't dry, what's going to happen is it's going to move that paint, and I don't want to move the paint. I want to keep it where it's sitting. Okay, coolio. Let's do this. I would sit on my little stool so that I could like get up higher and show you where I'm working. But then I'm gonna have to lean down and dip into my paint. I like it a lot better on the floor. It's kind of safe down here. So let's just bring you in nice and close like this and aim you up so that you can see exactly what I am doing. Okay, so now you can see this onyx is getting dry, the chocolate is kind of melted in, it looks like a hot mess, but this nice darkness is going to sit in all these recessed corners so that when I come in and apply the lighter colors on top, the darkness in the corners will show through. Make sense? It's like almost like reverse. Like if you were painting this and then you came back in and added your dark wax, I'm working in reverse layers. All right. So I am going to switch brushes now. I'm going to move into my French tip brush. You can see the bristles are a little bit stained, but they are clean. This is a clean brush. And I'm going to come into the second darkest color, which is Desert Tan. Desert Tan has like more of a between a brown and between a gray, if that makes sense. Okay, so this is from the Terra Clay Paint line. Just saw a giant hair in there, lovely. And we're going to start to stipple this on. I'm going to use the same motion, right? Poking the paint on. By just gently poking this paint on, I'm going to be able to create some layers. So let's work on our layers. Remember, this is going to be an old world apothecary style cabinet. Oh, it's going to be so loud as I tap, tap, tap my little brush. And we're going to build those layers. I want a dark, grungy look. Now here's the deal. If by chance any of the bristles of my brush, because I'm using natural bristle brushes, say that 10 times fast, natural bristle brushes. So because I'm using natural bristle brushes, sometimes the fibers of the brush come out, especially when I use those cheap brushes, those little cheapy chip brushes. I'll leave them on there. See how they sit here? I don't care. I'm going to pick them off later. Right now, I just want to kind of start to build my layers and decide what I'm going to do with my piece. So I'm layering on this Desert Tan over top of my onyx and my chocolate. It still looks like a hot mess. It always does. Here's the part where people start to doubt me. Don't doubt me. You shouldn't doubt me. There is like a little bit of painting genius behind the methods that I do here. So by applying it in this motion, I'm still stippling, right? I'm still pushing that paint on and creating little peaks and valleys so that any chips in this piece, any weird little crackles that was on this hand-painted piece before I got at it, makes no difference. We're just creating our very own texture. So the Desert Tan is sitting there. That is my second coat, if that makes sense. See how we have that base with the dark, the onyx, which is Terra, the chocolate, which is chalk mineral paint, and now we're just dabbling on that Desert Tan from the Terra line. So by dabbling it on, we're just building it up. Terra Clay Paint is reactivated by water. So if I wanted to, when this layer gets dry, come in here and start wiping back, you would see the darkness that's underneath, which is the cool thing. But honestly, this is the simplest way to paint, starting with the dark, moving towards the light, building those layers, and creating texture. Super duper easy. I see Amy watching. Hi AJ, how are you? I'm just dabbling on this paint and building layers. So we're going to concentrate on these two drawers right here, okay? Because if I do this all the way down, it's going to take me way too long to give you like the final effect. So there we go. That is dabbled on. We'll work to about here, and then we're going to stop, and then I'm going to continue the process up at the top here so that we can see this whole look. So this little cabinet is just like that particle board, MDF board that has been prepped with slick stick. I love my slick stick for any slick and shiny surfaces. And slick stick is going to allow you to be able to paint on anything. Glass, metal, plastic-like cabinets, whatever your heart desires. Okay, I'm just going to pull this drawer out a little bit because it's getting stuck in a little far. Okay, so there we go. So that's the second brush that I used for the second color, which was Desert Tan. This still looks crazy, right? Crazy. Let's give it a dry with my heat gun. And while I'm waiting, do you have any questions that I can help you with? Well, I have you here up on my screen. You have my undivided, captivated attention. Anything? FYI, if any of my followers that are watching right now would like to join me in Florida, I'm going to be in sunshiny Florida in a couple weeks. You can check the Dixie Belle Paint page or my website at www.thetopdrawerrva for all of the details. I will be painting live demonstrations in Florida. I have 3 workshops. One is currently sold out. So if you want to come, do not sleep on that because they are getting sold out quick. I think Bradenton Florida still has some spaces available. And then there might be one more event that has some spaces available as well. But Vintage Finders Warehouse is sold out. So you need to check the website, peeps. Check it out and come visit me in Florida. And as a special guest bonus, Amy from AJ's Vintage Design is going to come too. We're going to hang out and have a little paint party. And you can meet Suzanne, the founder of Dixie Belle. It's going to be fabulous. I'm super excited. That's the weekend of the, I believe, 5th and 6th August. Coming up soon, real soon, a couple weeks from now. Let's see. So Leslie's asking if I can explain Slick Stick again. I sure can. And I'll actually explain it to you by taking out one of these drawers. So Leslie, if you have a project like this little cabinet, that's plastic, right? Not real wood. Anything slick or shiny or not real wood, something like metal or MDF board, you're unable to just go ahead and put paint on that, because what's going to happen is your paint's going to not have anything to grip to, right? It's not going to adhere. Even if you were to like slick and shiny it up with like some scuffy sandpaper and try and make it so that it has a little bit more grip to it, you're going to be unsure. So anything for me, and also because I paint inside, anything for me that would require a lot of sanding or prep in that way, I'm going to use Slick Stick. So this little cabinet is MDF board. It was very shiny and it was like a plasticized surface. So 2 coats of Slick Stick applied to this piece allows you to be able to paint over top of anything. So what the process would be is inspect your piece, clean your piece with White Lightning, Pristine Clean, or Terra Clean, any one of the 3 cleaning products. Give it a rinse with water to make sure that any of that residue is wiped off. Then what you're going to do is take your Slick Stick. It only comes in white, okay? It's a white primer. And what you're going to do is apply your Slick Stick. So for this piece, I used a roller. I rolled it on, and then you're going to wait 2 hours. After waiting 2 hours, you're going to come back in, you're going to roll on your second coat or paint on your second coat, however you like to do it. And then what I do is dispose that roller in the trash, because I don't want to put Slick Stick down my drain. Then you're going to wait 24 hours before you paint. So by waiting that 24 hours, you're allowing it to cure. Ooh, there's that sound. Everybody loves that sound. You can't get this stuff off. Like, I could scratch as hard as I can. You're not going to be able to take that Slick Stick off. What it's going to do is give you a nice grippy, primey surface for you to put your paint on top of. And you're not going to have to worry that any of your paint is going to come off. It's your gripping primer for anything slick or shiny. I hope that helps. If you had a project, say, that was like redwood or had tannins leaching through, or that you were worried the tannins would come through your paint, you would use a different primer. You would use Boss for that. Also, it's very helpful to go to YouTube. On my YouTube channel, I have a Back to Basics series that will teach you about every single product that I use without mixing everything up. So instead of having a project with like primer, paint, and finishing, wax, it's basically like, what is Slick Stick? How do I use it? What is Terra? How do I use it? What is Boss? How do I use it? It really breaks it down into an easier kind of category for you. So I suggest you check out my Back to Basics series on YouTube. It's all under the Top Drawer RVA, okay? That's it. Check it out. Hope that helped. Okay, perfect. Now we have time. We can come back in here. So you can see how this dried in a lighter value, right? That chalk mineral paint went from like a dark gray color to like this light chalky color. So now we had started with Onyx, which is the black. I added a touch of chocolate, which is brown. That's from the chalk mineral line. And then I came in with Desert Tan. You can see the texture, okay? When I come in and show you this up close, you can actually see the peaks and valleys and texture on this piece. The texture is what's going to hide all of the things that were there that I couldn't get rid of. You know, that crackle surface, the painted surface, anything that was chipped or wasn't in the right spot. Using this technique is going to hide that look from you. So you're going to be able to paint over top and create your own texture. So now on the floor I have one more color. This is Moonbeam. This is like the white of the Terra line. Okay, I'm going to start with a new brush this time, and we're going to start to add the white over top. So it's still going to have the darker, grungier look underneath. There's a couple different ways you can do this. You could like rub it across like this and build your texture almost like a dry brush finish. See that? Which is kind of neat. I actually don't mind that look, because remember, I'm going to be putting those little teeny tiny Apothecary style labels, which was on the floor. Couldn't tell you where it is now. It's underneath some paint somewhere. I'm going to be putting the little labels in the middle. So you can kind of like rub it on like this. You can stipple it if you want. If you stipple it on, you're going to be able to kind of get a different look. I'm actually kind of digging this little wiped on look. It's almost like a dry brush, really. There's not a lot of paint on my actual brush right here, and I'm just pushing that paint over top of what I've done. So you can see how some of the onyx moved there in the corner. You take your brush and you can, again, stipple it or brush it. So if you wanted to stipple it in the middle, you could come in like this. Noisy drawers. I just wanted to work from light to dark. So we're gonna keep building that texture. This piece might even get some patina. I might even get out my patina paint and add some rust and crust to it. So we're just adding that moonbeam over top, which is the white-ish, it's not a pure white, it's definitely a creamy white of the Terra line. But there's really, when you work with Terra, there's no wrong way to do this. Like every single time you try something new, it's fun. Every single time I try and do a different technique or a new technique with Terra, it's fun. Like you get some really great designs with it. I do want to stipple a little bit though. I do feel like the stippling is, I don't know, it's just a prettier finish when it gets dry. Remember that clay paint goes on a little bit lighter, and as it dries, it gets even lighter in fashion because that's what's inside is that clay. This is getting close. This is getting closer to what I want to get as a finish, a weathered, grungy, movable look, something that I can come back in and even add some more brown on the corners. Somewhere I can come back in and add maybe some dripping patina. I love to take my mousse, my gemstone mousse, which is actually a discontinued Dixie Belle product. Check your local retailer for that. But I love to take my mousse and wet it and drip it down. So like where all the hardware would be, you can almost like a rusty, crusty faux drip finish. I've done so many projects with Terra that are similar to this, but every single time they look a little bit different. And every single time people are amazed at the finish that I get, and they don't realize how easy it is. I'm not kidding. Like you've saw me do this in the past, what, 20 minutes. It dries fairly quick depending on how thick you apply it. Like if you go real thick and chunky with your Terra, it's gonna take a little bit longer to dry. Most likely a project with Terra, I would wait 24 hours before sealing just to make sure that it's nice and dry before I come in and start mashing around my sealer. You have a couple options. As a sealer for Terra, you can use Terra Tough, which is more like a strong coat like Gator Hide. You can use Terra Matte, which is more like a flat matte clear coat. And then you can seal up your projects. And then on top of those pieces of sealing pieces, you can actually come in and use whatever kind of gilding wax you want, mousses, it's up to you. It's all about layers. It's all about texture for this. Okay, so this is getting closer to what I want. I have to turn it a bit though, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm working kind of in the front of this piece rather than down the side. This I like. So remember, that little label is gonna go, where's that little label anyways? I had it on the floor. I have everything on the floor for safety's sake. No, I can't find the label. There it is, I found it. So now imagine these little guys in between every single drawer, right? With maybe number 1 written in script, number 2 written in script, all the way down. It's gonna be super cute, super cute. So now I'm gonna show you what I mean when I talk about making this look even older. So we've layered up those paints. You've got this beautiful kind of textured finish. You're able to now manipulate this and move this around. So let me show you what I mean. On the floor, I still have my chocolate, right? Here's the lid for my chocolate. I grab one of my artisan brushes. So watch this. If you have a spray misting bottle and you have another color or artisan brush, you're able to come in now and start to move your paint. Let's add a little bit more age to this piece. Let's junk it up even more. Let's start to make some magic. Let's make some drips happen. Let's make some really rusty, crusty, kind of old, kind of down by the sea weathered look start to happen. See these runs? I want that. I love that. Give me more. I am a big fan of something that looks like it's being dragged out of the ocean. Something that looks like it's been living in a barn, like those are the things that make me happy. Totally make me happy. So this is just chocolate mineral paint, coming in here and adding that. You do the same thing with your Terra. So if I come in with the black Onyx on the same brush and want to do a little bit of the moving it, touch it, get your fingers messy. Start to make some organic mashing start to happen. I've got some rags on the floor. You can start to pull back your paint to reveal that black Onyx base that we started with if you wanted to. You could come in here with your gemstone mousse and add a metallic drip, but all of a sudden you start to age your piece. Think about where the dirt would naturally occur too, right? The dirt's gonna sit in the crevices. The dirt's gonna sit around the knobs where people would be grabbing, right? Let me bring you in even closer so you can see. See if I can pick you up without tipping you over. Can you see what I mean when I talk about layers and texture and design? You can pull off some of this paint because this paint's not dry yet. So if I grab it or grab a spatula, I can pull off those layers of paint. See how it sits on my finger? You can start to create a very beautiful, worn look. And here's the deal, y'all. I get the beats on the internet for this. When it comes to people leaving nasty comments, these pieces that are weathered and textured, that I have the most fun making, the ones that look, you know, the dirtiest and the grungiest, these are the pieces that people love to hate on. I get the most comments, usually negative, about like, oh my gosh, that piece looks like it was in a fire. And I'm like, good, I wanted it to be that way. They're like, oh my gosh, that piece looks like somebody dragged it out of the ocean. And I'm like, even better, that's the look I was going for. Give me spooky, give me dragged out, grungy, interesting pieces of furniture any day. So all I'm doing is using my finger as a tool with my layered up, wet Terra Clay Paint and creating some beautiful design. What do you guys think of that? Do you like it? Or do you think that I'm crazy? Which side of the fence are you sitting on? Are you team grunge? Or are you team like clean and tidy painting? Because let me tell you, I am not team clean and tidy painting. I will sit here on the floor and have the best time right now making this piece look as old as possible. Getting my fingers in it, getting that drippy mousse, maybe even taking a metal spatula and scraping back a little bit. But that is the look that you can get with Terra Clay Paint. I love it. And plus, remember, we're going dark Apothecary, right? Like we're going like old Apothecary. We're doing like really kind of, I want this to look like it maybe lived in can I say that? In like a Salem, Massachusetts. Let's say that. Like it was pulled out from Salem, Massachusetts, where they have like the best Halloween and fun fall stuff. We won't get too crazy over here with names, but I want to go for a spooky, fun look, and this is going to be it. So if you would like to try Terra Clay Paint, know that it is available in the 4-ounce sizes, which are amazing for anything, because to be honest, the amount of paint that you're using is not much. Remember, we're just wiping it on. We're just pushing it around. We're really not getting too crazy with our design. Like you're just gently depositing paint and moving it around and making stuff look old. Like that's the best part. It's the best part about this. I find that with Terra, I use less amounts of Terra than other paints. I do recommend like a nice strong base. So, you know, maybe making sure it's all one color first, like this beautiful black Onyx or like a beautiful chocolate, especially if you're like me and you like to really get in there and move your paint around with your fingers. It's helpful to have a nice strong base on there. But I think everybody should try Terra Clay Paint, and that everybody will absolutely love it because they're going to be able to create a look that is unlike anything else. And I love a burnt out, grungy Terra finish. Nothing better than this for me. So stay tuned, peeps, because I'll just sit on the floor and keep touching all of this stuff until I get the exact look that I want. Because, you know, I'm just going to keep junking it up until it looks as spooky as possible. I'm on like a Halloween kick lately, probably because it's hot as anything outside. I live in Richmond, Virginia, and it's so stinking hot. So I feel like maybe I'll just keep painting Halloween and pretend that the weather is cooling down. But don't forget to come see me in sunny Florida the first week of August. There are a couple workshops left and available. You can get one-on-one time with me. along with AJ from AJ's Vintage Designs as a special guest. We're also going to have Suzanne there, the founder from Dixie Belle. You guys don't want to miss it. It's going to be a fun little party, and I would love to see you. I would love to see you there, because in real life and in online life, it's the exact same way that I'm in person. So I love to hug your neck. Come and say hi. See me in Florida. If you have questions, send me a message. I'll send you a direct link to the website where you can buy your tickets. But don't forget, they're selling out. I think 2 events are actually, I know one sold for sure. The second one might be all the way full this week. All right? So book your ticket soon. And I'll see you next week. Stay tuned. We can see what this piece looks like together. But also, don't forget to leave me in the comments below. If you're team grunge, I want to hear about it, because that's my team right there. That's the side of the fence that I sit on. All right, you guys, take care. I will check in with you later. See you next week. Bye.